Eternal introduced the Marauder, it seemed like ID Software had finally given the Doomslayer a worthy rival, a fallen Night Sentinel clad in armor that mirrors the Slayer's own. Wielding both an urgent axe and a super shotgun, the Marauder felt like the perfect dark reflection of the Doomslayer. He wasn't just another demon, he was a traitor, someone who had once fought alongside the Slayer before turning against him, and then he was just another enemy type. Instead of being built up as a major recurring antagonist, the Marauder was reduced to a glorified mini-boss that got spammed in later levels like a standard enemy. This was a massive missed opportunity because the Marauder should have been the rival to the Doomslayer, his own Virgil, his Darth Vader, his nemesis, his brother Splash, but instead Doom Eternal squandered one of its best concepts and turned him into an annoying roadblock rather than a compelling antagonist. One of the most striking things about the Marauder is his design. Unlike most demons, who are grotesque and inhuman, the Marauder looks like an evil twin of the Doomslayer. He wears a similar stuff power armor, but it's twisted, corrupted, and warped by Hell's influence. His helmet, his glowing red eyes, and his aggressive combat style all scream, "This guy used to be like you." This is storytelling through design. A properly developed Marauder would have been more than just a tough enemy. He could have been the ultimate symbol of what the Slayer could become if he ever lost his way. He could have been a warning, a dark path the Slayer must avoid, or even a tragic figure who still clings to some part of his former self. But none of that happens. Instead, Doom Eternal treats him like just another demon, throwing him at the player again and again until he becomes more of a nuisance than a character. A proper recurring antagonist isn't just a tough fight, they have a presence in the story, they challenge the hero in ways beyond just combat, and evolve over time. The Marauder could have been this. Imagine if, instead of just showing randomly, he had a clear character arc toward Doom Eternal. He could have been an elite warrior of the Night Sentinels, one of the Doomslayer's close allies before being corrupted by the Makers in Hell. Maybe he wasn't just a traitor, maybe he thought he was doing the right thing, believing the Maker's promise that submission to Hell was the only way to save their people. Each time the Slayer faces him, the Marauder could have taunted him, questioning his endless war, forcing him to reflect on his own path. He could have been the only character who wasn't afraid of the Slayer, treating him as an equal rather than a force of nature. Maybe he even had moments of hesitation, hinting that some part of his old self was still inside, struggling against corruption. This would have made the Marauder battles meaningful. Instead of just being another enemy, he would have represented the Slayer's personal stakes in this war. One of the biggest problems with the Marauder is that Doom Eternal treats him purely as a gameplay obstacle rather than a character. He is infamous for his strict attack patterns, he can only be damaged at specific moments, he has a near impenetrable shield, and he punishes the player for getting too aggressive. While this makes him a challenging fight, it also reduces him to just a fight. Compare this to great video game rivals, Virgil from Devil May Cry, a recurring enemy with emotional weight, evolving movesets, and a personal connection to the protagonist. Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, a relentless force that stalks the player, keeping them on edge. Dark Link from Zelda, a mirror of the player's abilities, testing their mastery of the game's mechanics. The Marauder could have been like these characters, a dynamic, evolving antagonist who changed and adapted over time. Instead, he just copy-pasted into later fights with little justification. By the time you fight him for the 10th time, he's lost all mystic. A proper recurring antagonist needs presence. The player should dread their return, not roll their eyes at yet another predictable encounter. So how could Doom Eternal have fixed this? Here are a few ways the Marauder could have been handled properly. Make him a story-driven rival. Instead of showing multiple Marauders at the player like common enemies, keep him as a singular, evolving foe. Give him dialogue, cutscenes, and a deeper connection to the Slayer's past. Let him grow stronger over time. Each time he appears, he should have new abilities, new weapons, and different tactics, forcing the player to adapt. Maybe his armor becomes more corrupted, or his moves start resembling the Slayer's more closely. Give him a proper conclusion. Instead of being just another enemy in the gauntlet, his final battle should have been personal. Maybe he gets a moment of redemption, or maybe he fully embraces his corruption, becoming an even greater threat. Either way, his arc should mean something. Make him stalk the player. Imagine if the Marauder wasn't just a boss fight, but an active presence throughout the game, appearing unexpectedly, forcing the player to always be on guard. Instead of predictable scripted fights, he could have hunted the Slayer, much like Nemesis or Mr. X in Resident Evil. The Marauder had potential to be Doom Eternal's greatest villain, a fallen brother, a dark reflection of the Slayer, a true rival in both skill and ideology. But instead, he was reduced to a random mini-boss, spammed throughout the game until he became more annoying than intimidating. This was a massive waste of potential. If Doom Eternal had handled him properly, he could have been one of the greatest antagonists in first-person shooter history. Instead, he's just another enemy type, a reminder of what could have been. Anyways guys, thank you for watching my video, and if you have any suggestions for me so I can make videos based on those, don't hesitate to tell me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, follow me, and see you all on the next video. May the Doomslayer be with you.